Hello everyone, I'm Miss Jodi from Alpine Library, and I see a lot of familiar faces from class visits and after school at the library, and I'm really excited to be here today to talk to you guys all about summer reading and some summer picks for some spooky, scary reads, well, sort of scary, over the summer that you may have not heard of before. So our summer reading program involves 10 books or 10 hours, so you could read one book for 10 hours and get credit for summer reading or read 10 different titles. So it's up to you how you want to do it to get your first prize of the summer. So I just wanted to share with you some of my favorite scary or creepy reads that are also really funny. Now, you might say to yourself, how can a book be scary and funny? Well, there are books that are scary and funny. In fact, they're some of my favorite books. If it can make me laugh and it gives me goosebumps, well, that's great. And so I've selected a few books, if you like that kind of book, that you may not have heard of before. So the first book that I want to share with you is Coraline by Neil Gaiman. And Coraline is about a little girl who's younger than you guys, who moves into a new house. And how many of you have moved into a new home or a new apartment or just a new place to live and went exploring around it? Well, Coraline does this. And in her home, she finds a secret. Now, in the secret, it's a door, and she can't open it at first, but she finds a way to open it. And behind the door, she finds a whole different world, very similar to the world that she was in before. And some of it is very, very exciting and very much nicer than her own world because her parents are busy. They work just like most parents do, and they are busy with moving and unpacking, and they don't really have a lot of time for Coraline. On the other side, the parents there have lots of time for her. So it's very attractive for her. She's very tempted by this world. But as the book goes forward, there's some very secretive, scurrying, shadowy things that happen, and she really needs to make some decisions by the end of the book and decide if she wants which world she wants to choose. Does she want to go through, keep on the other side of the door, or stay on this side of the door? So that's a really great read, and to find out, definitely check that one out. So the next book that I have is called The Graveyard Book. Now, this is also by Neil Gaiman, and it is a book, of course, even the title is a little bit creepy, but I'm going to set the scene for you. So picture this. It's a late night in Victorian England, and a baby is asleep upstairs and hears strange noises. He wakes up, he climbs out of his crib, and scuttles to the top of the stairs. He bumps downstairs and loses his diaper, by the way. He gets down to the bottom of the stairs and he wanders out to the street. Well, the strange noises that will come up was an assassin in his house, which killed his whole family and went upstairs looking for him to finish the job. Well, he doesn't find him because across the street from his house is a cemetery. And in that cemetery are ghosts who've seen everything that has happened that night and look to shelter and hide this little boy from the assassin. Well, in the course of the book, what ends up happening is we find out that there's a secret order, that the real reason the assassin was there was to actually kill this little boy who grows up and is named Nobody Owens by the ghosts that find him, and he is raised in a graveyard. So there's lots of suspense. It's very creepy. It's in a graveyard. However, lots of funny and fun things happen. I mean, just imagine it, growing up in a graveyard. How would you learn your alphabet? So those kinds of things are in this book. Funny, creepy, thrilling, suspenseful, adventure. Definitely worth a read over the summer, and not a lot of people know about that book, so I definitely wanted to share that one with you. Now, our next book is also not very well known. It's by Sheila Grau, and it's called Dr. Critchlow's School for Minions. Now, how many of you guys have read or watched Harry Potter? How many of you wanted to go to Hogwarts and thought about, oh, what a great school that would be to learn how to be a witch or a wizard? Well, this school is not about learning how to be a witch or a wizard. It's about learning, minions learning how to serve their overlord. So being taught and educated and trained to be a great minion. Now, what is a minion? No, it is not a little yellow tic-tac with goggles that I'm mumbling to himself. Minion is a servant of an evil overlord. And this is a really funny book about evil overlords, magical creatures being trained to be minions. In fact, our main character is Rent, and he is a werewolf, and he's being trained as a minion. In fact, he's been trained his whole life to serve an evil overlord. And there's some really practical advice in the book, like never walk under a flying dragon without an umbrella. for, like a pigeon for obvious reasons. And then another great quote from the book is the difference between possible and impossible is an army of trained minions. So minions are really important in this book. It's a really funny book. Some great classes in here, like the history of henchmen. Who wouldn't want to take that class? And in the course of the book, Runt learns of some plans to shut down the school, which he loves and he wants to continue to go to. So he has to uncover the mystery, help keep his favorite wonderful school open. So that's a really great book, has some really great illustrations in it, things that I would definitely recommend looking at and enjoying over the summer, things that you may not have seen before. So definitely worth a read. Not a lot of people know this, and it's a series, so you can read several more books in this series. I believe there's 3. So the last book that I have for you is maybe for a slightly more advanced reader. It's called Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. Now, this is also a part of a 3 book series. All of them are equally wonderful. It is also about a school, just like Harry Potter, just like Dr. Critchler's. So this school, though, is for peculiar children, or in the case of this book, what they say is children who have extraordinary talents are a little bit different. So what happens in this book is our main character, Jacob, is raised on tales, these peculiar tales that his grandfather tells him about these extraordinary children. They have interesting powers, and they're all at one school. And he tells Jacob all about this school. Well, when he's little, Jacob really believes what his grandfather says, but as Jacob grows up, he starts to not believe the stories that his grandfather has told him. He starts to not believe that these are real kids in a real school. He thinks they're just, crazy tales. Well, unfortunately, his grandfather dies, and Jacob takes it very hard because he's very close with his grandfather. But in the course of what happens is he comes across a letter that's written and mailed from this school that his grandfather had talked about his whole life. He also comes across some really interesting photos of children in the book, and that's another reason why you should read this book. It's filled with these kind of really great vintage photos of children. This one has a boy with beads all over him. These are kind of creepy, scary looking twins. Even on the cover of the book is a girl here who appears to be levitating. So the book is filled with these really great illustrations. It's also filled with suspense because Jacob now goes to the island off the coast of Wales in England to find the school that his grandfather has talked about, and to find these people who wrote his grandfather this letter. Well, when he gets to the island looks like it's deserted, and the school looks like it has been bombed out from World War II. So he can't understand why his grandfather has received a letter from a school that no longer exists. So that sets the stage for what happens later, how Jacob gets involved with this amazing school, these amazing children. It flashes back and forth in time. It has history. It has suspense. It's scary because these hideous creatures are after them. And there's a mystery to be solved, and lots of adventure. So this is such a great book. I would definitely recommend you read it. And if you like this one, there's 2 more in the series. Really, really fun reads. Get you through the summer. Raise the goosebumps on your neck while everybody's splashing away in the pool and having a good time. You'll be engrossed in these amazing, fun books that you won't be able to put down, I promise. And if you have any other questions about these books, if you want other recommendations, or want to share with me maybe some of your fun, scary, spooky reads, because I always want a recommendation on a spooky, fun, humorous, scary read, please come and see me. I'm happy to leave these here for you guys to check out. And have a great summer, and I hope to see you in the library.